A Labour MP has urged the government to reconsider its policies on inheritance tax and net zero. In an exclusive interview with GB News, Henry Tufnell stated that the proposed changes to inheritance tax, particularly those affecting farming, would have a more detrimental impact than the Treasury had anticipated. However, when asked directly about this specific issue, his response astonished everyone with the boldness of his remarks. Watch the clip. Before starting, subscribe to the channel, like and write your opinion in the comment.
Henry Tufnell, 33-year-old MP for Pembrokeshire. You're elected at the last election for Labour.
Yeah. And
reading about you, I reckon you might be the poshest person I've ever interviewed.
Okay.
So your great-granddad was a Conservative MP. Your great-great-granddad was a Conservative MP. You come from a family of Gloucestershire landowners, I read. You went to private school.
Yeah.
Did you ever think of becoming a Conservative MP?
No. No, I didn't.
Did you ever think... When did you know you were Labour?
So I think it's an evolution. So I worked as a lawyer, practiced as a barrister doing healthcare, public and employment law. And I worked, so that was sort of, again, involved in workplace discrimination, that kind of aspect of law, which was obviously has a left-wing bent to it in some aspects, in terms of whether you're working for the NHS, against the NHS. So there's always a sort of political bent to the, well, I suppose there is a political bent to the law. But also I worked for a small grassroots trade union called the Cleaners and Allied Independent Workers Union. So I worked before I went into law as sort of involved in the legal stuff, and then afterwards I worked as a sort of organiser. So that's helping cleaners campaign for better pay and working conditions. It's basically been a sort of a journey type thing, that you get involved because you believe in a cause, you think you can make a difference, and then you go out to try and make the difference in reality. Be the change you want to see, I think is the cringe quote that always gets rolled out.
And you are not afraid to speak up when you think things aren't right. And in your constituency, a lot of farmers, and you spoke out when Rachel Reeves introduced in her last budget the imposition of an inheritance tax rate of 20% on agricultural property worth more than £1 million. You said that decision cost the trust of farmers. There's a budget coming up next month. Do you think you will see, do you hope to see, what would you like to see to improve the relationship and the deal for farmers?
I'm not going to speculate on the budget, but what I will say is, and I've been very vocal about this, is that there will be a significant impact on Pembrokeshire farmers as a result of this change to the inheritance tax. And I don't agree with the assessment that the Treasury have made about that impact. I've gone and spoken to Pembrokeshire farmers locally. I've collected a lot of data from them, seen their accounts. They've been very, very open about that. And I think the impact on them will be greater than what the Treasury is saying it will be. And that gives me great concern, because agriculture is a huge part of our rural community, rural identity, and it's hugely important to Pembrokeshire as a county. And so me, as their representative in Parliament, I think it's right that I make that case, even if it makes people in my party feel uncomfortable in terms of thinking in terms of loyalty or trust or whatever. I think that you are there to represent your constituents, and you're there to have to be bold and to be brave. And I think that's an important part of being an MP.